need to get extremely good at your craft. This is the season of getting good at actually what you do, so you could separate yourself from everyone else. Like, how do I get good at what I do, where it's like, it's a no-brainer that they want to use your service. They want to buy your products. They want to take your service because you're putting focus on being great. So it takes it back to how we talked about culture earlier. You need to be, and your team need to be, your employee training. You should be doing weekly trainings on how to get better. Like, this is a training. You watching Wealth Therapy and you taking the gym and applying it to your business. But you need to be doing that weekly. Like, I'm incorporating 5 to 8 hours a week in training for our team and our employees and people around, because you don't get better by default. I don't become a better leader by not learning how to become a better leader, not reading, not watching videos. So I think in this season is a mix of what you talk about, doing the work, but getting good at what you do and training to get good at what you do. So I don't even want you to, if you got to debate whether you want to work with that person or me and we do the same thing, I'm not good enough. Or it's not a clear difference that I'm better. Does that mean I need to go to work?
So that we have to work less and we leverage the system.
Correct.
How can I work less and make more? The problem with scaling is in the front, you have to make less because you have to spend time away from making the sales to build out a system where you can scale on top of that. Right. Scale equals system.
I agree.
It doesn't seem like you have a system because you work and your mom work and you're still making hats and you're still painting shirts, but it's so much stress and pressure because you're only making $1,500 a month. It's stressful.
It is.
I get super qualified cash buyers. And the vast majority of wholesalers, they don't even talk about this. It's not cool or sexy, but it's super important. But on top of this too, if you're not pushing the volume of contracts to these buyers, what's the point of getting all these buyers, right? And offers made, if I'm really looking at most wholesalers, right? If I do the one-on-ones, talk to people on these live streams in the comment section, right? Zach, I'm struggling. I'm doing everything, Zach. All I have to do is I can kind of talk to anybody right now and just ask them one question. Hey, how many offers have you made in the past 14 days? That is the only thing I get to ask. That is the only thing I could possibly even ask somebody to know. And it's going to directly correlate to how much money they made. I made 2 offers. Oh, that's why you're broke. Okay. And and the reason why I say this is I'll get wholesalers say, Zach, I made 15 offers and I've had 0 contracts. And I'm like, homie, you have a 0% closing rate out of 15? Okay, now I know your issue. Your issue is acquisitions. And no, I got 15 contracts and I made $0. And I'm like, then you have a dispo problem. You lock up properties too high, right? And so we got to understand this whole wholesaling process. A lot of y'all have issues somewhere. There's always a bottleneck.
The hardest part of being a real estate agent is to go out there and find a client. So if they're actively prospecting, looking for buyers and for sellers, I am a buyer.
I know whenever I am taking on something new, it always sounds really exciting. This is the reason for me that I attend so many conferences and workshops, or I'm always around like friends who inspire me and bring something to my table. Because, for example, you'll go to a conference, you'll go, and hear something. You'll sit in a room like this and you'll hear something that's super inspiring and you're like, oh my God, I got to take this and I'm going to go and do this thing with it right now. And then you get home and the kids are crying and, your spouse is spousing, the house is a mess. And it's like, okay, like I just recently came back from a conference. I was back to back traveling for about, 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. And so when I got home a couple days ago, my house was a disaster, right? Like just clothes from one suitcase thrown out, trying to make the next flight. And I had all this energy like, I got, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna do this. And the reality was I walked in my house and I'm like, I can't even think in here. It's just too much going on. So I'm trying to start cleaning up. And the cleaning up is just, I'm uncovering other things. And I'm like, okay, well, the housekeeper comes tomorrow. I'm just gonna let her handle it. And so then the housekeeper comes and she handles it. And now it's 3 days later. the energy to do what I said I was going to do isn't as high, but it is still very high. It's not as urgent as it was 3 days ago. You have to take immediate action. So I have a planning period today where I'm going to take immediate action, because I know me, if I get too far detached from the emotion of why I'm doing what I'm doing, not just the reason, but the emotion of why I'm doing what I'm doing, I will stop doing it, or it will be a long, dragged out, tedious process.
I'd meet somebody and they're like, oh, I own 20 units. And I'm like, dang, 20 units? That's crazy. And then like I get around another person and they're like, I own 150. And I'm like, 150? When like I came in and I'm like, I'd like to own 2 houses in my life, right? And then you get around people that are like, I own 2,000. And you're like, what? And then I got into like this mastermind called Raise Masters. The lowest people have is like 6,500 in there. And I'm sitting next to somebody and he's like, I own 10,000 units. So then what happens in that moment is like, I say this, the dreams to what I believe is possible, like the ceiling to what I dream to be possible is raised, but also the floor of my limiting beliefs are raised. And so like when I went in and I thought I can have 2 houses in my life, then I was like, that two houses is good. But now that I'm like 10,000 is the number, I'm upset if I have 5,000. You know what I'm saying? So because I know it's possible. I've seen plenty of people do it. And so the floor of my limiting beliefs continue to be raised. And so that happens because I'm surrounded by people in CG and in Raise Masters and things like that. And that affects my BHAG and then the impact that I believe is possible in this world.
The emotion in the moment, so high. Yo, we gotta do this.
Yeah, we do.
But between that, yeah, I'm sure we do. But I'm saying between that time and then all the other information you heard and all the other responsibilities and stuff that you're building, it becomes less and less urgent. Even though it's important, it's not like, yo, as soon as I get off the plane, Dave, we got to set a time to do this. You know what I mean? Because there's so much in between idea and execution.
Yeah, that's true.
What I care about is giving you actionable steps that are money-making activities and then tell you to be consistent off of that.
Another thing is, if Charlie's cheesesteaks, right? You know, in the mall where they give you the little sandwich. What if they gave you a 6-inch as a sample? Would you buy it?
Of course not.
You wouldn't buy the full, right? Why?
You gave me a whole joint.
A lot of times we're showing up to our businesses, giving our audience the full joint over and over and over again. They haven't even processed what they consumed. And you giving them more, and you giving them more, and you wonder why they cancel. They're canceling because their mind is still stuck from 3 days ago on the information that you gave them, and you telling them, oh, the homework that we gave you 3 days ago, you ain't do it, but no, you gave me homework yesterday, and I'm a mom, and I'm a wife, and I already got all this information, haven't been able to get results from this information, you giving me new information. Now I'm combating if this information is better than the information you gave me on Monday. They already full.
That's real.
They paid $9.99. And they don't need the sandwich. They don't need the sandwich because they already have consumed it all. Most scalable businesses require you to have more and more and more.
Now, I'm trying to go out there and just be a legitimate human being. And guess what? This is a B2B. This is business to business relationship where at the end of the day, who does business with each other? People that they know, like, and trust.
So I said, all this money we make, we made the most amount of money. We had our first 2 8-figure years during the pandemic. I said, this ain't usual. I was like, it's about to come back the other way. So I put up nearly a year's worth of savings to see us through the rough times. And guess what? This year was a rough time. Yeah. I'm being all the way candid. You know, it was not an easy year in business. We made less than ever before, but I had, for both of my companies, I had money put up. I was like, all right. You know, we never missed payroll. We never, because I knew that was going to eventually come. Like, you have to understand that your spring and fall time, if you think of yourself as a squirrel, right? If you're spring and fall time, when you're collecting all those acorns, it's not just for spring and fall and summer. Yeah. It's for winter too. Yeah. So if you eat up all your acorns in the spring, winter comes for everybody. Yeah. What you gonna eat? You know. So I'm always setting aside for winter, and we had a business winter this year, but I was like, okay.
The real thing behind, does money make you happy? Are you making the money doing what you're gifted at? Right? Yes. If I'm doing, like, when I retired and I got all the money in the world, I was not happy because I didn't do what was I'm doing. I don't know who I am. I'm not playing what I know. since 2018 when I got into podcasting. This is what makes me happy. And if I do it to the best of my ability, the money's coming, but I'm not doing it for the money.
Right.
You can get me 10 shows. I can be in here. I'm happy.
Yes.
On Sunday, I can't wait till Monday come.
Yes.
What we're doing, it really isn't rocket science. We kind of always have this infamous saying around this strategy of like, this business is simple, but it's not easy. It really is just two things. It's conversations and offers. This is a really, really, really bad year in real estate for a lot of investors. If you guys didn't know this statistic, I shared this earlier inside of our family tree call with those that are brokerage. Did you guys know that this year, as of this week, there's one realtor leaving the industry every 6 minutes?
And so I started to like post every single day, post a tip of the day. Anytime I spoke, I would post like, just finished speaking at JetBlue. You know, had such a great time. I got the money shot, which is what I call the shot where you're like, it's a selfie with the people behind you and everybody's all excited. Yeah. And so people were like, because what people saw is you're already out here doing it. People want to get on the waiting train.
I need that shot, guys.
Always. You know, like, or like a view from the stage. So people are like, oh, David speaks. I can hire him to speak. You see what I mean? It's because I noticed this, that when I spoke at a church and I would post it, churches would hit me up. And I said, And when I spoke at a women's event and I posted it, women's events would hit me up. And I thought, oh, I'm telling people what to hire me for. Like once that light bulb went on, it's like what you post is what you attract, you know? That's when I used to tell like my I have a bunch of mentees. And so when I tell my young boy mentees, when they're like, oh, this girl's out for me for my money, I'm like, well, when you fish with gold, you're going to get goldfish.
That's a fact.
So you out here, you know, with your chain or this or that.
Oh,
I mean,
my
so
God.
that's what you're going to attract because that's what you're fishing with, right? So you mad because she want gold now. Bruh, pull your line up and fish with books, right?
That's what Kobe was doing. That's what Michael Jordan, that's what I heard. You know what I mean? So I'm trying, when I heard Kobe went to a special ops guy, when I missed those 2 free throws against LeBron, where's that special ops guy? San Francisco, here I come. Right? Like the elite is the elite for a reason.
Right.
And if you only seeing what you're seeing around, you can only be this, right? You know, they're all stars in here, you know, but he's a superstar.
Right.
So I want to do what the superstars do. I went to Grover because Kobe went to Grover. Jordan went to Grover. I'm going to give you myself. I'm going to give you my regimen. Is it good enough?
Right.
Right? You judge me. Is it good enough? So he can say, Jordan was doing a little bit more. All right, well, what else was he doing? Right? I went there to show him my work ethic so he can critique it.
Wow. And this is what I tell guys all the time. There's a price for greatness. And if you're not willing to pay that price, you don't deserve to be great.
So I said, how do I illustrate my values so clearly that someone feels blessed to have paid me? And so that's when I started to use social media in such a way like
direct to seller, you are one of many investors going after this.
Yeah.
Whereas with real estate agents, could you be the only person that this realtor's talking to? Probably not. But do you think that there's 50 people contacting that one realtor in a day?
No.
The only way that a realtor is getting contacted by multiple investors right now in this current market is through agent outreach in the form of text blasting.
Yeah.
Which, sorry to say this, I mean, we were kind of one of the first people to start the wave of mass agent outreach texting. Right now, if you're not standing out, you are failing. Even if he couldn't bring me a deal, I can bring him one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find another realtor and I'm going to end up finding what Mark's buy box is. And then I'm going to tell the other realtors what Mark's buy box is. And then I'm going to be able to go in there and joint venture a deal. So whether I am an equity partner, I am just a joint venture partner, maybe I am a freaking wholesaler in the transaction, I don't care. I'm going to find a way to do a deal with Mark.
Part of my quitting was because I was just uncomfortable with not knowing how to do something and wanting to do it and wanting to do it fast and wanting to do it right and being more married to the end result than to what it actually takes to get there. And so the fun part in being a creative is the creative. The tedious part is actually getting the product out there, which most people pay people to do that. But when you're a 1 woman, 2 woman, 3 woman show, it's tough. So you just kind of put it on the back burner and things just kind of dissipate and, you know,
mist falls back to the ground and it just fades itself out.